In this video, I'm taking on every noodle here in Myanmar's biggest city. Asia is famous for its noodles, from ramen in Japan to pho in Vietnam.
Oh my god.
မင်္ဂလာပါဒီတစ်ခါမှလည်း More Best Ever Food Review Show Channel ကတင်ဆက်ထားတဲ့မြန်မာနိုင်ငံကြီးမြန်မာအစားအသောက်ကြောင်းဗီဒီယိုကိုဘာသာပြန်တင်ဆက်ပေးမှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဒီဗီဒီယိုထဲမှာတော့မြန်မာအကောင်းဆုံးခောက်ဆွဲဟင်းလျာ5မျိုးကိုရွေးချယ်စားသောက်သွားတာမြင်တွေ့ရမှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်မြန်မာအကောင်းဆုံးခောက်ဆွဲတွေဆိုတာဘာတွေဖြစ်မလဲသူအကြိုက်ဆုံးကဘာတွေဖြစ်မလဲဆိုတာအဆုံးထိလိုက်ပါကြည့်ရှုလိုက်ပါဦးခင်ဗျာဒီဗီဒီယိုကြိုက်နေတဲ့ဆိုရင်သူ့ channel ကိုလည်းတွားရောက်အားပေးပြီးတော့ subscribe လုပ်ပေးကြပါအောင်လို့တိုက်တွန်းပါတယ် channel မျိုးဗီဒီယိုပေါ်မှာစရန်ထိုးထားသလို decoration မှာလည်း link ထည့်ထားပါတယ်ဗီဒီယိုကိုအဆုံးထိကြည့်ရှုပေးပါအောင်ခင်ဗျာ
Then there's Myanmar, with a food culture that gets completely overlooked, including a world of noodles. Thick noodles, thin noodles, dishes influenced by India, China, and Southeast Asia, all colliding in one place. Today we're taking on 5 of this country's famous bowls. Their thickest noodles, their richest noodles, and their regional noodles. But it all starts with Myanmar's most famous noodle, mohinga. This bowl is more than just famous. It's Myanmar's national dish, a local go-to breakfast that's served all day. It's made with thin rice noodles, banana stem, and a rich catfish broth. Catfish for breakfast? I can't wait.
Once we see how this dish comes together, I want to show you its individual components, starting with the most important part, the broth. Now, this is a broth that is full of action, full of flavors, and if you look closely, it's even full of eggs.
But what sets this broth apart from anything else are the banana stems. It adds a unique layer of texture that we'll be tasting soon. But first, we need to meet our noodle.
Right here, you're looking at a thin rice vermicelli noodle. That is going to be perfect for this soup, and it's going to soak up that delicious broth. Let's see how it comes together. Ready? Action. Okay. Okay. Step 1, she takes a steel bowl. She grabs a clump of noodles and puts it inside. From here, she grabs a fish cake, a fried fish cake, and she scissors it into the bowl. Then she grabs a fried crunchy peanut fritter and absolutely destroys it. Now we're heading over yonder. She grabs a spoon and puts that inside.
From here, it's time for their complex broth loaded with fish, egg, and banana stems.
Finally, we move over here to the cilantro. Then she puts in some fried shallots and garlic as well.
Finally, she spoons up some chilies and adds it to the bowl.
And that is how you make this country's national dish, mohinga. Fish broth for breakfast? Yes, please. This is the most famous food in all the land when it comes to Myanmar. We've got bright green coriander. We have an egg that's been simmering in that broth, and then, cleverly, she takes a spoon and she puts chili flakes on the spoon. So you can decide for yourself how much chili you want to mix into the dish. But before we try this, I want to talk about what's inside this bowl. This is full of different fried fritters. When you order the soup, you can order any of these to go inside of that broth. Usually people choose one, and here's what there is to choose from. This right here is an onion fritter. We saw this in our last street food video. Some of these are made with beans, and they resemble falafel, and the one I'm eating today, in fact, does not have peanut, but it contains beans. Let's give it a shot. Super fried, crazy greasy, super crispy. But once you put that into there, it's going to be a completely different experience. I don't think this can withstand that broth. I think it's going to become incredibly soggy. So why do people do it? Let's find out. Still a little bit of crunch. Very nice. Now I'm going to attempt to mix these elements together. We'll get to the noodles soon, but first, the banana stem. Now, if you look closely, it's like you can see these big plant cell chambers. Chambers that get completely soaked with broth. Try it out. I love it. Crunch is almost like eating celery, but the taste is completely different. It's not dense because it has those big cellular chambers, so it has more of a squishy crunch to it. It's so delightful, and it's an ingredient that you don't really see used in anything. Meanwhile, we have the broth to talk about. Wow. So this is a broth that's been made more thick with toasted rice. Try it out. It tastes like fish, but it's not fish-y. It's so full of flavor. A great way to spice up your morning, too. Here's the best part. You get a little messy. Over here, they have some toilet paper. I know what you're thinking. No, that's a tissue, Sunny. Sure about that? Sure about that that's not toilet paper? You sure about that? And people online call me an ass face anyway, so what's the difference? Let's mix her up a little bit. I want to unearth some of those noodles. Not bad. I'm impressed. This right here is the perfect ambassador for Myanmar. There's a lot of pressure on a national dish to hold a whole country on its shoulders, and this pulls it off. But from here, we're going to be trying 4 other noodles that may not be able to contend with this. Let's head to our second location now. After trying Myanmar's most loved noodle, we are moving on to Myanmar's thickest noodle.
Meet Nam Gi Tok, a dish that represents how Myanmar food mixes many cultures. Rice noodles from Chinese influence, curry and spices from Indian influence, and all of it resulting in Burmese flavors that are rich but still mild and balanced. At least that's what it says on the menu.
The name basically means thick noodle mix. Let's go inside and take a look.
But what makes this dish really stand out are these udon-like noodles.
You can see what I mean when I say it's kind of udon-like, but actually this is even thicker than udon. This is one of the thickest rice noodles I've ever seen in my life. It is big, it's sticky, and it's perfect for the dish that we're about to make next. Ricey, starchy, slightly sour, needs a little bit of flavor. Let's get to it. It all starts with this thick rice noodle. A noodle that's going onto a plate because today we're having a dry noodle. Then bean sprouts go on next, followed by fish balls. Next we go over here as she puts in some fish sauce. Over here she's reaching for some chickpea powder, then some chicken curry, but mostly the chicken and not so much of the curry. Oh, here comes the curry. From here we have some tamarind, then a lethal dose of chili oil, a double dose. Over here she grabs some fried noodles for a little bit of crunch on top, then she hits it with coriander, and that is how you make Nam Gi Tok. Thank you.
All right, right here, the second noodle of the day, and I could not be more excited because I am always a big fan of a dry noodle. Something you'll see all around Asia when you get a dry noodle is a little sidecar. They want you to go in dry, but not too dry. Right here, we got some emergency lubricant. Liquid. I didn't say lubrication. Before I dive into this, I want to talk about what the owner just told me. She said with pride that she does not include MSG in her food. If you listen to stories in the USA, the lore is that MSG was vilified by racist white people, which is one take. But then you go to Asia and then you hear from actual Asians that they also think too much MSG is bad for you. That's exactly why she doesn't include it in her recipe here.
So we have the noodle, we have our broth, we have some raw onions on the side, and then here we have some interesting condiments. First of all, chili flakes, if you want a little bit more kick. And then right here we have a dried chickpea powder. Chickpeas, it's not my favorite food. They make me gassy. But chickpea powder, what about that? Let's find out. Do people eat this through their nose or their mouth? What is the point? It's not a bad flavor. It's a little bit starchy. It's mainly a mild flavor. There's not a lot to it. Let's see how it tastes when it's mixed with all these other ingredients. Let's go for it. That chickpea flour, it adds a thick layer of starchiness. It kind of just thickens all the flavors up, and I think it makes them adhere more to the noodles. The main flavor I'm getting immediately is that chili oil. This is very spicy. Meanwhile, you've got this right here, a chicken stock on the side. Now that is full of MSG. No, just kidding. Here we have the souls of several dozen chickens that have been boiled and then strained out. And what's left is this amazing umami liquid. Let's try one more bite. Chicken, balls, cilantro. On top of it, some raw onion. Let's go for it. This is a fascinating noodle experience, and it's all because of that chickpea powder. Usually a dry noodle is going to be more slippery and wet and oily, but here, everything's more clingy, which I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of. So this is Myanmar's thickest noodle. Now, on to the next one.
Next up, we're trying Myanmar's richest noodles. Meet Ono Khao Soi. The name and the golden coconut broth might remind you of another famous dish from northern Thailand. That dish is called khao soi.
Khao soi is a rich, creamy coconut noodle that I tried when we did our noodle tour in Thailand. Absolutely delicious. In fact, it's one of my favorite noodles in all of Thailand. So let's see how this one stacks up to that.
There are 2 key elements that make up this dish. First, the noodles.
This is the noodle we're here for today.
Unlike khao soi, where they combine chewy egg noodles and crispy fried noodles to create more texture, here they use thick wheat noodles. These noodles are less about crunch and more about body. They sit underneath the broth, soaking up all that creamy coconut richness. But the second thing that makes this dish is the broth.
First of all, did they say I could touch this? They did. because I asked. Second of all, I'm gonna give it a bit of a swish, and you can see those rich colors.
Here they start cooking it early in the morning, then let it simmer for hours. So coconut milk soaks into everything hiding inside. Chicken, chicken feet, duck blood, duck eggs, anything is possible. But here's the catch. None of these come standard with your bowl. Oh no, these are all add-ons. And it's first come, first serve. So let's see what's left in the pot and how they put this dish together.
It all starts with wheat noodles going into a bowl. From there, we get some shredded onion, and we're heading over to the broth. She gives the broth a little bit of a mix, then she pours it inside. We've got chicken bones, we've got meat, and even more broth. Now an egg as well, and she's digging around for some goodies because we've asked for some upgrade with the noodle. So with each scoop, there's a little bit of a surprise. Wait, is that feet? Oh, okay. So she's added chicken feet. From here, she's taking a scissors to the chicken feet, cutting them into smaller pieces. Then we both look, wondering if we're done. Are we? Finished. And that is how you make Oh No Khao Sui. So at first I was excited about this because I thought it was part of a drumstick, and it is part of a drumstick. Just the way end part that still has a foot attached to it is not a drumstick. So that is essentially chicken ankle. Then if you come back, we have this chicken, I don't know, like the palm of its foot. Oh, there's some chicken meat. Now this one at first I thought was an egg. That threw me off. That's not an egg. That is just a giant onion ball. This right here, that's an egg. But even though the feet are chicken, the egg is from a duck. Now, this looks dramatically different from anything we tried so far today, but the big comparison I have for this one is khao soi, and so far, there's nothing really khao soi about it except for that coconut broth. This is the element that makes it the richest noodle in all of Myanmar. That's very nice. It's a little bit sweet, very rich. There's some curry flavor, and then the coconut, but the coconut is certainly not overbearing. It's balanced with everything else. Now, before I get to those noodles, I have to debone my soup. Let's start with this. Right here we have a chicken ankle, perhaps the most prized part of the chicken, if you ask me. Yeah, boy. Also, is that a toe? Is that a third toe? A fourth toe? What's going on there? Let's start with that. Fourth toe. So they've raised it just enough where the skin is starting to fall off the bone. That said, it's taken on the flavor of the coconut. It is quite delicious. I'm telling you, next time you order a bowl of noodles, go bone in. Sucking meat off the toes. This is like watching an owl ant. In Asia, if you have a foot fetish, it means something completely different. Now from here, I'm going to gently put the bones to the side and eat those later. So right here, I have a delicious scoop of noodles. You can see they're absolutely soaking up that broth. Let's toss it. It's a pretty good noodle. If I had to choose my actual favorite noodle type, it'd probably be an egg noodle. The egg noodle, it has more protein and it has more bounded. So something like khao soi is a very fun, chewy experience. So how does this actually compare to khao soi? I would say it's pretty different. Really, the only thing that's similar is the coconut base that they're using for the broth. But even that tastes pretty different. Here it's very, very chickeny. That said, this is just noodle 3 and we have 2 more to go. Let's keep moving.
From Myanmar's richest noodle, we're moving to this country's most regional noodle. This is the Shan noodle, from Myanmar's largest ethnic minority, the Shan people. The Shan make up about 1/10 of Myanmar's population, with estimates around 4 to 6 million people. Their food reflects their location near the border of China, Laos, and Thailand. So how is it made? Let's go inside and find out. Shan noodles can be served 2 ways, in a light chicken broth or dry and mixed, also known as a noodle salad in these parts. Today I'm going with the salad version.
Everything starts with the actual noodle, which is residing in water in this bucket. This is a thin rice noodle that she's putting into a basket. Once she's gotten an adequate amount of noodles, she comes over here and she puts them into hot water. While the noodles are boiling, she gets a bowl here where she adds in some special sauce. Then she puts in some crushed peanuts, some crushed sesame seeds, and we come back waiting for the noodles. The timing here is very important. Oh my God, I almost dropped my phone in there. She swishes the noodles about, testing the texture. She feels happy about the texture of the noodles, and she gives them a swish in that sauce. She grabs a bowl, and our noodles descend into that. But we're not done. Are we done? From here, we have pork that goes on top, and even more pork. Here we have garlic. This is Chinese cabbage and spring onions. I think we have a completed dish, and that is how you make Myanmar's Shan noodle. Right here, you can see I have nothing. And that is because when eating this noodle, it's very important to have it hot and fresh. Otherwise, it's going to become one big solid clump of noodles. Let me show you. Here's the one we just had. We took tons of video of it, and look, not exactly what I'm looking for. So we're making fresh on it right now. I'm about to eat it quick. In the meantime, I want to show you this right here. This is Shan Tofu, a regional favorite. I don't even love tofu that much, but I love that taste. It has a nice thin, punchy exterior, and it hardly tastes like tofu at all. At last, our noodle has arrived. Every strand of noodle is thoroughly coated in that sauce and those nuts in these nuts. Let's give it a shot. Oh, wow. What a flavor. What's interesting is that the internet said this is the country's lightest noodle. I'm eating it, and it doesn't feel that way. A lot of the components that went into this are pretty dang heavy. It's super warm, steamy, and a little bit slimy. You can eat this as a soup, but I like that in Myanmar, they call this having it as a salad. And as a salad, it works. Noodles are very elastic, they're stretchy, and since it's a rice noodle, it perfectly gets coated and saturated with all that flavor.
But beyond the noodles, there's a chili sauce the owner claims is the spiciest thing I'll ever eat. Time to put that to the test.
Cheers. Like a chili crisp. It's very oily, super heavy, and it's just coating my throat. But is it the spiciest thing I've ever had?
It is like instant heartburn.
It's burning in my mouth.
I don't want this anymore.
No. But if the spice does get to you, and it's definitely not getting to me. Then you can always go to this right here. This broth is made from a chicken stock. Now I get it. Some people say this is Myanmar's lightest noodles, and that's because this is a clean, delicious broth. I love it.
Finally, we're moving on to Myanmar's most unlikely noodle, Kya Zan Hinga. Not made from wheat flour, not made from rice flour, but something else entirely.
This is a giant brick of glass noodle.
These noodles are made from mung bean starch, giving them that slippery, glassy texture that can sit in a hot broth for hours without turning soggy.
So from here, I'm going to take a look at the broth. The noodle's already inside. Let's take a look at that now. Oh, she left already. I think she's going without me.
Unlike the other noodles today, which were quickly blanched in a hot broth for a few seconds, these guys are simmered in a boiling broth together with all these other ingredients. Wood ear mushrooms, tofu skin, dried shrimp, herbs, and whatever else the kitchen throws into the pot.
Now, if you look closely, you can see right here, those are the actual glass noodles in between all the other chunky ingredients.
They soak up all that flavor while somehow staying chewy, slick, and almost impossible to destroy. After placing an order, the chef simply scoops up a few ladles of soup into the bowl, then tops it with chili oil, a protein of your choice, and exactly one single quail egg. They also serve it with diced onions and cilantro on the side. And that's how you make Kya Zan Hinga. Let's give it a shot.
Boom, here it is, Noodle 5, the final noodle of the day, and what an adventure it's been. Let's talk about it. If you take a close look, there are two things going on in here. First is this black part. I was told that the black fungus, what it is actually is wood ear mushroom. You'll find that in tons of Vietnamese foods as well. Aside from the mushroom, we have tofu skin, but the best part, of course, is the noodle. Deep inside, kind of wrapped around everything, you can see that glass noodle. Before we get to that, you have to try the broth. A broth that takes hours and hours. Wait, no, just 2 hours. 2 hours to make. Go for it. That's nice. Now, earlier, we went to a restaurant that took pride in not using MSG. Here, it's the opposite. Here, they take pride in using MSG, and it really comes through in the broth, and let me tell you, it's delicious. With a soup like this, there is no such thing as just having a noodle bite. It's always going to be everything together. Let's go for it. Very satisfying. I love it. The wood ear mushroom is a little bit more snappy. It's got a bit of a crunch to it, where the tofu has a little bit softer texture. Meanwhile, the glass noodles really just tie everything together. They are the social lubricant. This is like the perfect drunk noodle. If you drank 12 beers, you're on your way home, it's 10 p.m., you're being driven by someone, stop here, eat some salty MSG, and feel great the next day if you ever make it home. So that is noodle 5 out of 5. And this is certainly our most unusual noodle of the day, but is it the best? Today I tried a lot of noodles that don't resemble anything I've seen anywhere else in Southeast Asia. When it comes to Burmese cuisine, they definitely have their own food culture and their own noodle culture too. But if I had to pick one that was my absolute favorite, it may be predictable, but it was mohinga, the national dish, and it is the national dish for a reason. It was deeply savory and satisfying. That catfish broth, it catfished me, like my wife on Tinder. But that is just my opinion. Guys, let me know what you think. Which of these 5 noodles from today do you wish you could try? Let me know downstairs in the comments down below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. This is The Peas. Bye.